Okay, so we're gonna start it again. Let's see if now we get the right title. That was a great catch up by my frigging Raven. So I see the title now is correct. Okay, that Coach Evans. Oh my God, I feel honored today. My honor. So let me get started. I'm not gonna do too deep. No, a lot of you guys know the news now. Crabtree got traded. To be honest, for me, it was a surprise. This is not a popular opinion. I was surprised. I was a little shocked too. I saw Rohit. Thanks for joining. And this is why. Let's start with who's a wide receiving core right now, especially with Lamar and Lamar's growth. We need better wide receivers. We need wide receivers that can teach the young guys. And I know Crabtree had a very rough first half of the year, but man, it's hard, right? Because look at this. John Brown, arguably the best receiver last year, right? Gone. Crabtree, second best receiver last year, gone. You can debate it with Willie Snead. Then Willie Snead, which was our third receiver, a guy has never been a number one. It's gonna be a number one guy. That is hard. If you check Denver, for example, and this is something that people don't like to talk about, but sup Samuel, thanks for joining me. Let me write this here. Write this here. Sorry, let me. This thing is being stupid. Why? There you go. Okay. So, the biggest problem that I have with all this was, if you think about Snead is your number one right now, and I'm only going with what it is right now. Snead is your number one guy. Who's your number two? Chris Moore, right? Then your number three is Lastly. So I was gonna give the example of Denver Broncos. So which is actually the team that Flacco's gonna go. But the Denver Broncos lost DT, Demaryius Thomas. They had a hell of a number two, and Emmanuel Sanders, and a great rookie playing really good. The guy, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, the rookie, tough guy. Let me find his name. Anyway, all of their numbers dip last year as soon as Curtin Sutton, as soon as DT got traded, all their numbers dip. Samuels wasn't producing as well. Curtin Sutton wasn't producing as well. It is very different from going from a number one receiver to a number three. Now, when you face the Steelers, which they're receiving with their cornerbacks core is average at best, but now Snead will get Hayden, right? So now Snead, when they go man, he is gonna face the number one guy. Again, it's very different. It's very difficult when a receiver goes from the number three option to the number one option. It's very difficult. It's very different. So thinking about that, I remember, and shout out to Coach Evans, me and Coach did a review of the offense and the defense, and you can check that video as in the channel. But when we talk about it, when we went and talk about Crabtree, again, not a popular opinion, but I thought we're not trading Crabtree because Crabtree can route runs. He's the only one that is a pretty good route runner. Not pretty good, he's really good. And he can teach the young guys how to route runs. How to be good, how to not only just run like anybody will run, how to move your feet, place your hands. Crabtree was the only guy we currently had And I was like, we need to keep it for one more year because the saving wasn't that good, and we should kept it for 1 year. And if we bring a rookie, we can develop that, right? So right now you have Snead 1, Moore 2, lastly 3, and then Jaleel Scott 4. Yo, that's atrocious. Let me see here. For Rohit, I feel like it is also good because it freed cap. Okay. Also, it gives the young guys a chance to prove something which we have never done before. I also feel we will address the wide receivers. That's my thing. Now you have to address, and thanks for the comments. Now you have to address the wide receiver early in the draft. You have to, because if you think about it, you cannot go with this core with Lamar. Free agencies are gonna be very hard to bring. The only thing you can semi-do is tell a receiver like, well, you're average receiver, you're gonna be a number 1 here. Maybe that enticed him, but it's not gonna be a good receiver. It's not gonna be a top of the line receiver. You can trade for somebody. Yeah, that's an idea, but that's gonna cost you picks. I think even with Crabtree here, the young guys were gonna get opportunities. That veteran presence, I feel like it's important to have, which right now we don't have in the wide receiver area. What I'm seeing is we free 10.5 from Flacco, 4.67 from Crabtree. So now, what are we gonna do with all this money? Which is all good. Tavon Young just got a pay raise, which well deserved. Are they thinking about using this money with CJ Mosley? I hope not. I kept saying I'm a big fan of Mosley. Actually, yeah, I have right now the jersey, CJ's. And CJ at 12, which is high, I will take. But the report says that he wants 14 and 15. I don't want them to free that money for them, right? So for me, again, not a popular opinion, but letting Crabtree go for me wasn't the best decision. I think at the end you need a veterans. You need somebody that will be in the locker room. Lamar not knew him a little bit now. Same thing with Snead. They knew, right? So at least 2 veterans, they're still here. Because lastly, he has hand issues too, right? He has hand issues. So now you have Snead, really good with the hands. Above average receiver. I'll say like a B-, C+ receiver. Really good in zone coverage, finding the holes. I'll give him that, and fighting for extra yards. Who else? Chris Moore, deep threat, but average. Lastly, another deep threat, bad hands. And Jaleel Scott, we don't know. We think he can be a good in the red zone. My thinking right now is he has a lot of room to improve, and I think that's what they shoved him last year. Let me go some comments. Samuel says, I like DK early if available. He's the beast. Jalen Smith is a no-brainer late in the draft. Jalen is going to go late, and that's immediate connection. And then Rohit, I don't think they will spend the money on most. I'm just saying they free a lot of money. I think either they're going to go in spending some more free agents, like own free agents extensions, like Judon, Michael Pierce, or mostly they're gonna overpay for him, which I hope not, and I think not, going to Rohit's point. And last, I think this money might be available to fill a gap on an open market, maybe as a pass rusher. This year's free agent is a pass rusher free agent. There's a lot of good ones. So the question, or Z, right? Are they freeing for Z? Oh, Harmon. Yeah. So I think, and if you want, you can check my my mock draft. Let me write the link here for a moment. My mock draft is in the website. And the website is easy, xcusports.com. So there's my mock. You can check it out. I don't have the Ravens taking a wide receiver right now, but this for me changes because I think now it has to be pushed. the idea to get a receiver. I think the receivers are gonna go late first, early second. So us trading back a little bit, getting extra picks, we might still get the receiver that we want. But still, that's a rookie. That's a lot of pressure on a rookie. I do agree with Samuel. With this, Jalen might be a must, especially in later in the draft. Jalen might be a must. If he's there in the 4th round, he is not 4th. I think 4 might be still early for him. Maybe like a 5th. If he's still there, I think the Ravens might target him because they need connections with Lamar. Now, the problem with Jalen is if Lamar feels too comfortable, then he's going to force the ball to him all the time. You don't want that, right? So you want him to spread the ball as he was doing. The one good thing that I see for both Flacco and Crabtrees for the trade and Crabtrees cut, they did it early. There's no designated post-June, so that means you take the cap hit this year. There's no cap hit for next year. That's good because next year we're going with better cap numbers. The other thing is interesting. Jimmy Smith. We haven't heard anything from Jimmy Smith, and what that tells me is they're waiting to see if a team wants to trade for him. I don't think Jimmy's staying. I would love Jimmy to stay, not at that number, but I would love for Jimmy to stay. I think they might be waiting to see if there's a team willing to trade for Jimmy Smith. I think Jimmy Smith, the cap number is like 15, but I think if a team trades for them, similar to Flacco, the cap number for that team is less. It might be like 9. I'll check later. I think it'll be like 9. So that's a good number for starting corner. Especially, as you saw, slot corner went for 10. Or near 10 for Tavon Young. Jimmy has the body. At that point, he will be on a year-to-year basis. So maybe you can get a 5th for Jimmy. And that'll be decent, right? Because at this point, you're looking to cut him more than just keep it. I doubt that he will redo his deal. And Weddle's the other big-time cap number, I think, and I've been saying this for a while. I think they're going to keep Weddle. Harbaugh loves him too much. I think that he's Harbaugh's boy. I've been saying that with all this money, I love Weddle too, but I will cut Weddle and try to bring Thomas. I think he will be hell of a center fielder, especially if you're going to keep playing man coverage with one deep. He can adjust. Weddle doesn't have that. The other question that I have if Mosley leaves are Mike guy. Is it young? Is it peanut? Can they really call plays? I don't want to see Weddle calling plays because that was the second problem. He was in the line all the time and then trying to adjust, trying to go back. He was out of position. Okay, but going back to Crabtree. So I like that they cut it early. We don't have any reminiscence of that contract, which we don't want. Is there any free agent receiver that we're going to bring? I doubt it. Golden Tate is the best current receiver. I don't think he will want to come here unless we overpay for him. I don't want to overpay for him or for Demaryius Thomas. He's probably the second best wide receiver out there in the market. I don't know what is the plan on the receivers. This is the position that we're thin. The free agent market is thin. So that forces us to draft receivers. I will not be surprised. Actually, I will almost guarantee we're going to draft 2 receivers. But I would not be surprised if we draft 3. 3? Yeah. Now, the good thing is we have 2 good tight ends. We need more than 2, but we had 2 good tight ends with good hands. They can block. And we're hoping Hayden Hurst takes a step up. I wonder if we get one of those tight ends from Iowa dropping late in the first, early in the second, will DeCosta pull the trigger and say, well, you know what, this receivers, I'm not very sold on none of this. Let me just say, let me go with tight end, and then we can just run a jumbo package all the time, right? You put 3 tight ends, now your O-line, it looks like a jumbo pack. Lamar's a running quarterback with a runner like Gus Edwards. It's going to collapse a lot of people in the box, but now those tight ends can run free with good hands. Let me go back to questions. I think we could get a 4 or maybe a 3-round pick if teams are desperate. So this is the thing. If a team is desperate, yes. I don't see a team getting that desperate this early in the game. Could they? Yes. The problem with is the Jimmy, if you check the last couple of years, 3 years, if he's not suspended, he's been injured, right? That's the problem with Jimmy for the longest time. He's not getting any younger. So the thing is, we're gonna cut him. In my opinion, we're gonna cut him regardless. So anything, I thought for Flacco, I kept saying at best a third. So I was happy with a early fourth, very near third, right? So I'm very happy with that trade. Can we get something similar for Jimmy? It would be spectacular. Especially, let's say you get a fourth, but now you have 3/4, 2/3. You can jump to the second round, especially if you trade back from that 22 spot. Like in my mock draft, I had the Ravens trading, and you can check all the trade scenarios and the compensations at the end of the page. From 22nd to 30th, getting an extra third, and then from 30th jumping to 28, just swapping. I forgot. I think they're giving a fifth, so not much. So that would be awesome, right? Again, I think we might get. I think, like I said, probably guarantee a 2 wide receivers like last year, but we're gonna get a third wide receiver in my opinion. So probably early, let's say first or second round, we're gonna get a wide receiver. Third or fourth round, we get another one, and the fifth or sixth, we'll get another one. I don't like. No, yeah, Samuel, you're right. I literally, you tell me which wide receivers I like in the free agent, and we have to wait to see who gets cut. I don't like any. None. There's not one wide receiver I can say, like, that's the guy to the Ravens. Go get him. Go pay whatever. There's none. I don't know if there's anybody available that we don't know. Obviously, we know AB, and the report is the Steelers are not going to trade in the AFC North, and I knew they were not going to trade in the AFC North. Beckham, there's rumors that are floating out there, but the Giants are not going to trade him for at least 2 first-round picks. I mean, you have to sell the farm for years to get OBJ. So, yeah, this is why cutting Crabtree for me was a little too quick. They pulled the trigger too quick, and like I said, I personally didn't like cutting him at all. I would have stick with Crabtree. I would have waited to see what happened in the draft, and at that point, I might have made maybe the same decision, but not now. I think it will look now. Teams will know we're desperate for a wide receiver. In the draft, teams can read more of our draft if a wide receiver is falling, right? Let's say the Steelers. They like Juju, and they're semi-sold on Washington, but he was a rookie. Let's say we drop, and now we're in the second round, or we trade it back. That's what I mean. We trade it back, and first round we pick a pass rusher, something not a receiver, and then we trade up to get or a wide receiver slipping. Let's say, I don't know, Harmon. Harmon's a good one. Depending on his 40, he might slip to middle to late second. So the Ravens might be positioning to get him, right? And as he's dropping, the Steelers is a team that might be looking for another wide receiver, especially with AB leaving. They know, like, we like this guy. The Ravens are going to target a receiver early. Let's trade up and get him, right? Similar to what we did, or if you think about it, this happened when Ray Ravens supposedly were very interested in Shay Ray. The pick before was there. Shay Ray was still there. The Broncos jumped before us and got Ray. It happened to, I think when we got Max Williams, the Steelers was looking to draft a tight end that year, and we draft the pick before and draft Max Williams in the second round. So again, teams knew we needed receivers, but now, like I said, Snead, Lastly, and Moore, or Snead, Moore, and Lastly. That's your top 3. That's not a pretty picture. I know we're a running team, but we need playmakers also on the outside. We need to. Especially, to grow Lamar, we need that playmaker. We have none. So, that being said, I have been working on a podcast with Joe Newell, BPA. You can check the first one. We talk about 6 wide receivers. We're going to do a new one this week. We're going to talk about running backs. My opinion, guys, because all I see is people wanting to draft running backs. Running backs for me is like later. I don't understand why we want to draft this running back so early. I do want a running back with good hands because I want to have that safety blanket for Lamar. But I don't need a running back early in the draft. So the guy that I'm loving more and more, and we're going to talk with Newell this week, is Love from Stanford. He had an injury this year, but he's not gonna be your workhorse. He can run between the tackle and he can catch. I like him more and more to bring to the Ravens. I think he would be a perfect complement, and he is gonna be in the middle runs in my opinion. So, Sammy, I like DK. If DK is there at 22, and he went with a great he did a great health background. The health test came out great, clean. Yes, DK. If I keep saying DK for me is the number one receiver if he's healthy. You know what would be awesome if we get DK and AJ Brown slips to the mid like a third, and you get AJ Brown the teammates. Awesome. I'll take AJ. Then AJ has really good hands, strong playmaker. I would like him. And he seems to be sliding. I think the combine is very important for him. Yeah, so Henderson, I think he's probably going to go in the third round. Third, fourth. I like Henderson a lot. He's good. Again, my point is spending a draft early on the running back, which when Gus Edwards there, he's not going to be there, right? So I do think we need another running back because right now we have Edwards, and then we go to Dixon and I guess Thompson last year, but we don't have any more running backs, right? The other two are free agents. So yes, I would like a rookie there, specifically with Dixon getting nicked so much. Anyway, guys, so I'm gonna conclude this stream. Thanks for joining me. Thursday's probably gonna be the BPA episode. Check it out. Me and Nua will put the promos out there. We're gonna talk about Darren Henderson, Samuel, but we're also gonna talk about. We're probably gonna stick to the same format: 6 receivers. We'll talk about Crabtrees' reaction. We're gonna talk about combine, what we've seen and all that. So it's gonna be in Joe Newell's channel. So check it out. Like I said, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time.